Hi, welcome everyone to another broadcast for Talk, Listen, Share, part of Shay's Warriors Life After Cancer. Um, Shay's Warriors is a 501c3 nonprofit with an all volunteer board of directors that was formed in the Coachella Valley to help our cancer community thrive after treatment is over. The mission of Shay's Warriors is to inspire, inform, and empower through health, fitness, and the mind body connection to heal survivors and their families through a national network of support. Our Talk, Listen, Share community was formed as part of our online educational outreach to support each other through survivorship and thrivership. Talk, Listen, Share is hosted by our board members every second and fourth Wednesday of the month by Shay Moraga, the co-founder of Shay's Warriors, and myself, Dr. Sonia Fung, naturopathic doctor specializing in integrative cancer care, and Marissa, who is the managing partner of Skin Lab. So we look forward to our three very special guest speakers tonight to broaden our conversation within the cancer healing sphere. So tonight we have three very special guests with joining us for Talk, Listen, Share to highlight this year's Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October. So I want to do a little quick introduction of our three guests tonight. So our first guest is Maggie. Maggie is a single mom of a 16-year-old son. She was diagnosed with breast cancer in September of 2021 in the middle of COVID. She is also local to Coachella Valley in Indio by way of Los Angeles. We also have Jessia, who currently resides in Yuba City in Northern California, where she is a 7th grade middle school teacher. And she is also a partner, mother, grandmother, and a 2-year breast cancer survivor. And she has a passion for meeting other cancer survivors where they're at and sharing her story so that they can continue to thrive in their life after cancer. We also have Andrea. Andrea started her cancer journey when her husband noticed a strange colored lump under her left breast while on vacation in Spain in November of 2021. So still kind of during in the middle of COVID as well. And she was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer and completed her chemotherapy in May of this year. She's also had a double mastectomy and is also currently going through radiation as well. So these ladies are going to be sharing their story with you all tonight. And let's start with Andrea.
Thank you. So, so like you say, I was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer, which is the fastest growing, most aggressive form of breast cancer to get. I'm an overachiever. And so I was very blessed to be to get my oncologist. She is an amazing woman, on the younger side as doctors go, with an amazing sense of humor, and that really, really works for me. It made the whole journey. I mean, the chemo. One of the chemos that I was given was called Red Devil, to give you an idea of how strong it was. So that's been the toughest phase, the chemo, and she got me through it. I will do anything not to throw up, and of course that's one of the known side effects of chemo. She recommended something I was taking, and I am glad to say I didn't throw up once. I consider that a major achievement. I'm a business and personal coach, and I coach women and actually men too. to actually manage their minds so that they don't take themselves out with worry and fear and all that stuff. Well, of course, this called me forth to walk my own talk. And, I just have had to self-manage every stage of this, especially the chemo. That was the tough one. So with the surgery, I heard that you can have a side effect of, again, throwing up with the anesthetic. And that's where I was just like, my mind would go there if I didn't manage it. And of course, I was fine. And I woke up to an amazing nurse who also had a sense of humor, which is my flavor. And I'm in the middle of radiation right now, which is going extremely well. I mean, I seem to be managing it very well. So the main thing I wanted to share is I really got challenged to walk my own talk. This stuff that I've been coaching for years, and it's all about managing mindset. Like this can really run the show, and how anyone experiences anything. And I've managed to mitigate fear and worry. I mean, I really feel great about that. Yeah, it's quite a journey.
Thank you so much for sharing that, sharing your story with us tonight. And there's going to be further questions that I'm going to pose to you ladies. But let's go to Maggie.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Maggie. Like Dr. Sonia said, I was diagnosed September. I actually found a lump on my breast, which was very strange because I had just gone to my scheduled yearly mammogram a couple of months before that. So I was, it was kind of a shock because they didn't find anything on there, but it was a triple positive, that AGR positive stage 3 breast cancer. And I think the whole time I was in denial. Even when I went to the doctor, I had to go to the doctor twice to make sure they got it right, to different doctors. And the journey is incredible. It seems so long. I questioned everything. Like, I questioned if maybe the vaccines had caused it, medicines I was on. But, at the end, it's just our bodies. It's not really anything that we take. It's just how our bodies interact inside of us. And that was the biggest thing for me, like trying to, not blame something in particular for having the C word.
Yeah.
And the chemo, I was with Andrea. They tried that Red Devil thing, but fortunately, after only one dose, they were able to get me to a different one that was not so as harsh as that one. And immediately I started losing my hair, like after that one dose. So that was hard. And like Andrea, I did not want to vomit. I packed myself with the pills that they gave me, and then I had to deal with the side effects of that pill. But as long as I wasn't in the bathroom all that time, I was good. But I did six doses of that. Next Monday, this coming Monday, is my very last infusion.
Oh.
And then I'll be done with the medicines.
Yeah.
And then the last surgery in December, and then it'll be behind me.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Congrats. You made it so far and you're doing so well.
Yes.
So, Jessia, would you like to share your story?
Absolutely. So my story starts back in 2018. I went in for a yearly mammogram, and I had been doing regular mammograms because breast cancer runs in my family. And so with this yearly mammogram, they said, hey, we see some things, but we think they're just calcifications, but we'd like to biopsy them. So they did a biopsy, and that went absolutely horribly because they hit a blood vessel and it ended up way worse than it should have been. But in the end, they did say, oh, no, those are just calcifications. So there's nothing to worry about. So we'll see you every 6 months for the next couple years. So I did my next three. So 18 months later, my very last one that I went to in that 2-year period, they said, hey, where we put that marker after your biopsy, yeah, there's an area there that we would like to biopsy again. This time when they biopsied it, it actually came back as ductal carcinoma in situ. And so I only had it on just the one side in that exact same area that they had already biopsied 2 years before, and it was not cancer. But I had always had the conviction that should I be a breast cancer survivor, that I was going to be very aggressive with my own decisions and my own treatment. So I opted, although I only had it on one side, although I was only a stage 1, and it wasn't they didn't even have something that was palpable. They just said it was an area. So when they gave me the option to take out an area, but they couldn't tell me like dimensions of this area, I thought, what if they miss something? What if it comes back? And so I thought, no, I'm no lumpectomy. I'm going to go ahead, and I opted for a double mastectomy. And then I went ahead, and at the time I had a very high BMI. I weighed about 60 pounds more than I do now. And the doctor had told me, because initially I was very against implants, but wanted to have the reconstruction at the same time. So I was very, very confused on which route I wanted to go. And so I had thought about doing a deep flap procedure, which would have been using my own tissue to reconstruct my breasts. And they said, I'm sorry. My doctor literally said, I'm sorry, but you are too overweight to do that. And it was crushing. So on top of having cancer, I now had my doctor tell me, nope, you have to lose some weight in order to have that kind of a procedure. So I went to work getting rid of weight and scheduled my mastectomy and decided we'll deal with reconstruction later. And so then my story got a little bit more, let's see, I wouldn't say, it got a little more difficult. I had a long-term relationship that broke up 6 weeks after my mastectomy, and I felt very alone. And so I thought, what am I going to do now? Thankfully, I have the most amazing kiddos, and this little picture right back, oops, let's see if I can get this right. That little picture right there, that was what got me through my cancer treatment. That's my 2.5-year-old granddaughter, and she was born 6 months before I was diagnosed. So we kind of share birthdays. I have a survivor birthday, and she has her birthday in the same year. But having that be kind of having that, that support, that extra little support, that little ray of sunshine, it really helped me to get through my treatment. I did not have chemo. I did not have to have radiation. So I was done after my mastectomy with the cancer part of this. Then it was just rebuilding. The rebuilding took a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. It took a good almost 18 months to get fully done and be rebuilt to where I felt like a female again. Because I will tell you that mastectomy, I was amazed at how much of my identity I felt like that took away. So with that being said, I really, I decided that moving forward, anybody that I met that had I wouldn't even call it the unfortunate C word given to them. I wanted to share my story with them so that I could help them and at the same time learn from them and thrive through hearing their story. Because the one thing I did learn was that I got my diagnosis on the first day of school in 2020. I was doing digital learning and my doctor called and I was standing in front of the school delivering textbooks. And I said, oh my, okay, I'll be by later to pick up my pathology. And I went back to work. My principal walked by and he said, hey, good morning. How you doing? I said, hey, just found out I have breast cancer. And I kept moving. He kind of looked at me and he kind of thought, oh no, did she really just say that? And from that journey, 3 months later, one of my colleagues who I teach 7th grade, she teaches 5th grade. About 2 months after I was diagnosed, she was also diagnosed with breast cancer. 3 months after that, a 3rd grade teacher at my same school was diagnosed with breast cancer. So the three of us had the most amazing opportunity to attend the Shay's Life After Cancer Reset Retreat this summer. And I can't tell you how much more that bonded us and how much we walk daily through our journey together. And that, I think, makes a huge difference when you're looking at how to get through cancer and how to be a survivor and how to thrive with life after cancer.
Amazing. Wow. That is a very powerful story, especially because it was just like one thing after another.
It truly was.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that all three of you are able to share this with our Shay's Warriors community tonight, and just wanted to dig a little bit deeper into your story. The next question that I want to pose to you, the three of you, is what do you wish more people knew about having or going through cancer? Let's see.
The one thing I wish that when I started my chemo, especially, I was so set on not losing my hair that I think, like, I wish they would focus more on convincing us or like allowing us, not convincing, but, talking about shaving your head. If you're going to go through chemo before chemo, then experiencing the slow loss of the hair, that was the most horrible thing on my end. Like they offered the cold cap and all of that, but I didn't experience the cold cap. I don't even know if that works or not, but like if they would talk more about, it's okay, you should probably shave your head, or something like that, instead of saying, oh, this medicine is going to make you lose your hair. That to me would have been like, I wish they would talk about that more, because for me, that was the most difficult and like emotional part of the whole process. Even more than the mastectomy, for me, that was the hair, which I was surprised. I remember the first visit to my oncologist. I was like, I want to start the medicines already. I don't care if I lose my hair. I need the medicines, because they had told me that the cancer was really aggressive and it was moving. It grew like from when I went in to when the medicine started, it was so big, so massive. And I was like, you guys need to start, just get it ready. And then I started losing my hair. I was like, oh, wow, okay, they were kidding. It's for real. So that would be like my take on that, to like talk more about it's okay to not have hair and to shave it off.
Did you have a similar experience, Andrea, when you went through chemo?
My oncologist did tell me it was going to happen quickly, and it happened in the first 2 weeks. like my hair dropped out, and of course it drops out unevenly. So first, my husband, my wonderful husband, who's been by my side like every step of the way, he like tried, shaving it, and then I went to my hairdresser, and she made it look perfect. So I discovered that I have very cute ears, and they and my hair's growing back, so a little bit unevenly, and obviously a completely different color than I was coloring it. So my photo is like the red hair, and so yeah, I mean, I kind of knew what to expect, and everyone's been like super great, super great. My hairdresser has actually been on a cancer journey herself, and through it. So, it's just like it's been this little community that's been building up around me since last November. Yeah.
Fabulous. And did you want to add anything on what you wish more people knew about having or going through cancer?
My journey didn't get to have the hair loss in it, but what I did find was it's amazing that a doctor can tell you have cancer, but then you just kind of walk out the door. So for me, I wish, and I actually had a few friends that were breast cancer survivors and family members at that time that actually told me about the equipment that you might want to have ready when you come home from the hospital, from your surgery. You might want to have a wedge pillow, because laying on a wedge pillow makes it a lot easier to sit up and get out of bed. Having got, for the second person at school that was diagnosed, I found after my surgery, I found this really cute little belt on Etsy to hold your drains, which is amazing. When you come home from the hospital and you have these little drains, where do they go? Well, they just kind of hang off of your body. But this little belt has little pockets. You put your drains in the pockets, and it made it a little bit nicer for her to have to deal with those ugly little drains that everybody, I'm sure, loves so much. And then I did have a friend that suggested a scar gel that, thankfully, at this point in my journey, my scars are I love my scars. They are beautiful warrior sort of marks on my body, but they are not big, ugly, typical surgery scars that are still purple. They're skin colored and they're white. And it was just a scar gel that somebody suggested to me. So just being able to pass on those little things. Oh, and the best thing is that you have to have a seatbelt pillow when you come home. It is the nicest thing for taking care of your chest, and that constant abrasion of the seatbelt. Those were some things that really made a difference in my journey. So when we find someone in the area that we know is just getting ready to start their journey, we immediately buy these 4 little things, the 3 of us, and we deliver them. And we say, here is your cancer care package. Let us know what else we can help you with. But at least that gives them a start.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Well, it's so great to have that local support as well for anybody else who is going through all of these, going through such a crazy time in their life. And, it's nice to have somebody to help walk them through and be like, hey, I was there. These are the things that you need. So, all right. So let's talk about positivity. So going through cancer is not always easy. It's not a walk in the park. What is your advice for cultivating positivity going through your cancers? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think one of the most positive things that I started doing, I really just started doing very recently. And that is that when I wake up every morning, I don't care what is ahead of me. I have to look in the mirror and say, today I am going to live well. And I am going to do whatever I can in that day to be sure that I do it with positivity and with a smile. Because, sometimes a smile is the best medicine that you can give somebody, whether it's cancer or anything else they're going through. But that smile can really turn somebody's day around. So for positivity, I would have to say That's probably my go-to.
What about you, Andrea?
Yeah, so I came up with 3 things. I mean, I knew I had to self-manage because I have a very busy mind, and it could take me out. It could absolutely take me out. So the first is I committed to wearing sparkle every day, right? I wear sparkle every day. So as I pass myself in a mirror, it makes me smile, and it's a very purposeful thing. I love sparkle, right? The second, I got some great advice right at the beginning, which is be your own best advocate. Now, I'm not shy at all. I mean, I ask questions for a living, right? So, but I really, really got that advice very early on, where I would advocate for myself every time I have a doctor's appointment. I mean, not so much now because things are calming down. We're on the end run here, but I had a list of questions for every single doctor every visit, because they don't tell you everything. They just don't. They probably, so they have good reason. So I was my own best advocate every which way, and then there's something I'm a very strong believer in, which is the power of gratitude. So even now, as I'm going through, like earlier this afternoon, I was going through my radiation session. I'm looking at the equipment, and I'm thinking gratitude for this process I'm going through that will mitigate future risk. I've done it every stage of it, no matter what, remembering gratitude along the way. This kind of lifts my spirits up, and it reminds me to focus forward, not backward. So those are my 3 things.
Thank you. What about you, Maggie?
Well, I think most of what I did was view it as a vacation. When I remember and everybody thought I was crazy for thinking that way, but I think that's what got me through. Because when I went into the oncologist, they said you could take 3 to 4 months leave, medical leave. I'm like, you're crazy. What am I going to do with all that time? But, I did go to work, but I viewed it and I treated it as a vacation, forced vacation, but, and I was sick most of the days, but it was just like, I think just the idea of being on a vacation, stay at home vacation, I think just knowing the word vacation gave me that positive vibe and helped me deal with it. And also, accepting all of the changes as they came through the process, because the whole process changes your body, your mind, and even the way you behave and everything. So accepting that with, like Andrea said, with a positive and thankful attitude is how I was able to go through the process. And I remember saying, oh my God, when is it going to end? And now it's like, wow, I can't believe I went through that. It's like a whole year already passed by. It seemed like forever at the time. But and that's one of the things that I got the most when I spoke with people that experienced it. They're like, don't worry, it'll pass quickly. And I was like, I don't know how that's going to be. But now I'm the one saying it, it will pass quickly, even though it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah.
So what perspective shifts or positive changes have you made in your life because of your cancer diagnosis? Let's start with Maggie again.
I got a lot closer to my friends. When I was diagnosed, I kind of disappeared. I didn't tell a lot of people. But through the process, I realized, friends and family is number one, is what keeps you from going into the dark, I guess, into the darkness. So I made a point of, contacting my friends more often, my family, and the way I eat, especially, is very different now. Not only for what I eat, but the amounts of food that I eat. Even when I go to restaurants, I try not to, for the most part, not to finish the whole plate. And it's just it changes. Also, I tried going on vacations more often. When before this, I went years and years without any vacation time, and now I already told my boss every year I'm taking a vacation no matter what. So that's how things changed in my life.
What about you, Andrea?
Well, I love that you brought up vacations. And I want to add into the mix, my husband has been literally by my side through everything. And I was amazed actually at how much he has his own business as well. He's in IT and cybersecurity, and he's busy. And he's been driving me to appointments, been by my side. So of course, we just celebrated our 19th anniversary, and I love him to the moon and back. But I mean, I appreciate him on a whole other level. I kept reminding myself this. I'm having conversations with myself, right? That it's rarely as bad as I am actually projecting and imagining, like creating the future. So I just kept reining myself back in. That's one way I made it through. And I have something that I call choosing where you focus. So where you choose to focus determines your experience in life. And this is where I've been called forth. I had to keep reminding myself of my own advice, my own stuff, to keep focusing forward and focus on what I want, not what I don't want. Because the mind can create the experience that I've been going through. It can be like awful, like really the worst in the world. It can be like difficult and hard. It can be easier by what I'm just saying here. So, like I say, I really challenged myself to walk my own talk since last November, even through the toughest stuff, the chemo. Yeah.
What about you, Jessica?
I think that one of the biggest perspective shifts that I've had is in the what if questions. I used to be a horrible what if. I could find a what if negative thing for a lot of things. But a wise man who I found just recently, who is now my new partner, said, you know what? What if you thought about that from a positive perspective? What if this was your one bout with cancer and it's gone forever? What if that surgery hurt a little bit more than the first one, but it's done now? What if you're going to go today and you're not going to have any pain today and you're just going to have a fabulous day? And it was changing that what if from a negative to more of a positive. And I will be the first one to tell you that I can go see my plastic surgeon any day of the week. I can go see my general doctor any day of the week. Make me go to the oncologist and I turn into a freak because it's just that cancer word. And so I used to think I had 5 million what ifs before I got to my oncologist every time. This last time that I just went to last month, which would have been my third 6-month checkup, I actually went into the office and said, "Hi, how are you, doctor?" I think it was the first time I actually greeted him, because prior to that, I was always what ifing my way into the office. I didn't have time to say, "How are you doing?" It was just tell me nothing's wrong. Just tell me nothing's wrong. And so changing that what if question from a negative to a positive really helped. But then I also had to apply that to the fact that I had to learn that life was never going to be like it was before I had cancer, but it will be amazing from here on out. And I have the power to do that. And so just having that, it's really a mental shift. It's not even something physical. It's a complete way of thinking that you have to decide you're ready to be a survivor. You have to know that you're a survivor today, tomorrow, and for every day in the future. And you just have to keep walking that positive walk, because negativity, those bad what if questions, those aren't even any fun anymore. So if you just what if it into a positive way, or find a way, it's sometimes entertaining to, especially when you have one that you're like, oh God, this one really, really, really is a bad what if. When you can flip that to a positive, it just makes your day. It makes it a whole lot easier to get up and walk your walk and talk your talk and just thrive and survive.
Yay.
It sounds like that can be applied to any situation, and I love it. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go back to the shaving the head, what Maggie was saying. I know, like Shay, you had experience with that. Do you want to speak to that?
Sure. For me, I was born with 2.5 inches of hair. And it's always been very, very thick. I think in first grade, we cut my hair, the Dorothy Hamill haircut back then. So that was the only time I've ever cut my hair. Otherwise, my hair has always been down to my back or right at my waistline. So when the doctor said, this right after you start your chemo, it's going to be about one chemo into it, you're going to start losing your hair. I did what I called at the time a cancer cut. So I did a very short bob. And then it was literally a week later and the itch started happening and all of that stuff. And it started shedding like a cat, to be honest, but it hurt. I never expected your hair to fall out and start hurting the way that it did, right? For me, it just hurt. And so I went into my local salon, salonist, Christina, and she's the most amazing girlfriend and beautician that I could have had at the time, because she made it really special. I mean, she almost made it like a not a party, because it wasn't a party, especially because I knew I was going to lose my hair. But she made it very special, and I came in after hours. No one else was there. I was allowed to bring a couple of my best friends with me and my daughter. And she really gently just said, like, we're going to go slow with this. And, and I was like, no, we're ready. Let's do this. And, the buzz started to happen and I lost it all eventually. But I also prepared myself prior to that by looking in the mirror and saying, it is only hair. My hair will grow back.
Right.
I can get a wig. I can wear fun hats. I had never been able to wear hats before because too much head and too much hair. But those are the things that I think as women, we identify ourselves by our hair or by our beauty or how we look. But we are so much more underneath the surface. And this was like a metaphor of being stripped of everything, but knowing I was still the same person looking in the mirror, and it will eventually come back. But my mindset had to stay here.
Yeah.
We had a question that was from Jason, one of our viewers, which was similar to one of the questions that you already answered, but a little bit different. He asked, what was one aspect of your attitude that changed before and after cancer? Who wants to take it?
I'll answer that if you want. I think for me, the attitude that changed, like before cancer, I was very set in my mind of proving, like I by myself as a single mother could do everything and anything, even when I get sick. And after cancer, like I ask for help for even the smallest detail. I don't do everything on my own anymore. That was the biggest attitude change on my side. I learned that it's okay to need help.
It's tough to ask for help because you're open, vulnerable, so bad, right?
Yes. And that's one of the things that we learned in the retreat, thanks to Shay's Warriors.
Awesome.
What about you, Andrea?
I have had a massive, massive deepening of counting my blessings. I notice everything. Every single person who's reached out to me when they've heard what I've been going through. I mean, literally, because I'm originally from Europe, from England, so from around the world. I mean, it has been amazing. The love and support that just little by little, as people have like discovered. And I only recently posted a video, but sharing my story, so nobody knew, right? And that I really, really counting my blessings is every day.
For me, it was learning to give myself grace, learning that it was okay to not be able to do everything every day by myself, and to give myself that time to relax, to give myself that time to practice some self-love, and to give myself some time to say, you know what, you really are a survivor.
And thriving.
Yeah. And who would have thought I look good in short hair? No, I love it.
You look amazing, Maggie.
It's really cute.
Yeah, I got really good at resting too.
Right.
I got
Yeah,
really good at it. Yeah.
Nap time is a thing now.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And I don't think that ends even at 5 or 6 years, by the way. I'm like queen of power naps now, let me tell you. There's nothing like a quick nap in the middle of the day to zest you up. And in Europe, they do it all the time. So I guess,
If only I could. I'm not a great power napper. I have not trained myself. Like every time I take a nap, if I have to, it's like 2 hours and then just like messes up my sleep schedule. And I'm like, oh.
My daughter had a psychology teacher in high school that actually had them nap in class, and she came home completely on fire because this teacher told her to take a nap in class, and they did it for 15 minutes, not 16 minutes, but 15 minutes, because that is how long it takes your brain to reset, recharge, and get ready to go again. She came home and I totally did not believe her. I set my timer for 15 minutes, laid down on my bed one day, crashed. The alarm went off 15 minutes later. I woke up and, I was out of here and ready to go do some things. I am a firm believer now in the power nap.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. I wish I could shut my brain down.
That's amazing.
Yes,
wish I
that
could
is a
do that.
superpower. I
Yeah.
do not possess.
well, probably for both of you, you need to like get away from your actual office and, be able to have that space to do it in too. So that is hard. Maybe over lunchtime. If you take
Yeah.
Sonia's like, what's that?
Like, yeah. Maybe I'll try. But okay, and we have about 15 minutes left in our programming. And for those who don't know who Shay is, Shay has joined us. Thank you. This is Shay of Shay's Warriors. She is a cancer survivor of triple negative breast cancer as well. And so this is the whole reason why we even are here tonight with this programming, is because there is a huge piece in cancer survivorship that is missing in most oncology programs, and no one really talks about survivorship and that support needed after cancer. And so this is why we are here tonight, to give this information, this education, share our stories to other cancer survivors, so that they know there is a resource here for them, like whenever they need it. So these videos will live on forever online. And I also wanted to talk about, if Shay, you want to jump in and talk about our I Am Hope Survivorship Reset Retreat, and what that's all about and why we are doing this.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I just want to say, Andrea, Yasika, and Maggie, thank you tonight for being here and giving us the opportunity to share your stories. Because when I started out my journey, I didn't really know anyone who had triple negative. I was placed with another woman who actually works with us at Shay's as well. She's a board member, and she was able to tell me about her cancer journey. And at the time, that meant everything to me. And so by you sharing your stories tonight about your experience and how you stay positive, and maybe I missed a few, but it's okay to even share the negative space sometimes too, just as long as we are together to pick ourselves back up. Yeah. Because the cancer journey is very much the roller coaster that goes up and down and up and down. And what most people don't understand, who have never gone through it, but us four do, is the fact that once we're on that roller coaster, it never ends. And so, but it's a lot funner when you're with people that you know, and you can share, and you can talk, and you can listen, and you can embrace each other when the roller coaster gets too scary, and you just keep climbing up the hill. And I hate roller coasters, by the way. Side note, everyone knows that. But you know, after my cancer was over, it was a shock. There wasn't, you know, the support system, it went away, and it should go away because people need to go back to their lives. But as we four know, in having cancer, the fears of reoccurrence or anxiety or the doctor appointments when you have to go back for the scan, like that stuff can trigger some post-traumatic stress or some traumas. And so that's why we're here to work together through the cancer, through the journey in life after cancer. That's why the I Am Hope retreat is so important. That's why we raise every single penny to send survivors to the retreat. This year, we're hoping to send, no, I'm going to take the word hope out. We are sending 40 cancer survivors to the retreat this year. We will be securing a location in the next week, which will be kept top secret until the very last minute, when those survivors are notified where it's going to be. And that will be held again in June. We actually have a date, so I can put that out there. It's going to be held June 8th through the 11th of this year, right here in the Coachella Valley.
That's great.
Greater Palm Springs area. I'm not going to tell you where. But you know, and I know Maggie and Yasika, you had a chance and an opportunity to be there that last year. and look at where you're thriving now and who you're helping and who you're talking to. Because I know there's women on tonight that heard your story, and they heard your story, which makes an impact with them. And that story will make an impact with someone else. And when they heal, they'll make an impact with someone. And this is that ripple effect that I talk about all the time. So thank you for being a part of that. Thank you. We'll kick off in January. We'll be able to start the nomination process again for all of the survivors to attend the next retreat. And I think some of you guys are going to be coming back to help volunteer and do all that. So it's a big family, and it's this great, maybe it's not so scary of a roller coaster anymore once we know each other and we're here for each other. And that's what this is. And Yasika, I know you do Coffee and Connection, the virtual series.
Once
and
a month
that
we
is
get
a
together.
virtual emotional support group. The next one is on November 19th. And so that is really, really awesome, because anyone from around the world can jump on that call and have conversations just like this. And who better to have conversations than people that have gone through it before?
And you know, Shay, with that Coffee and Connections, it is amazing, ladies. If you haven't had a chance and you have time on the 19th, hop on and register for it, and then go to the link on that day. And we all we celebrate the good stuff. We celebrate the icky stuff. We have lots of time to celebrate. And so we spend that hour really connecting with each other. And I have to tell you, I owe Shay so much for the I Am Hope retreat last summer. It is literally life-changing. Cannot tell you how excited I am to go back and volunteer with this retreat, just because it made such a change in my life. I learned that I can be unapologetically me. I get to be me every day.
Yes.
I mean, we have this second chance at life, right?
Yep.
And that's those colored glasses you put them on, and it's this new thing. Who else? I mean, when and it doesn't matter whether it's cancer or another trauma, your mortality is in your face when you are told those 3 words: you have cancer. And then it's your choice to choose to figure out what you're going to do with the rest of your life, because it starts then. And I'm so grateful for everyone that is a part of this organization. Sonia and Marissa and all of us, but I'm excited for the people that we haven't met yet that will be at that retreat. I'm excited for everyone who was at the last retreat and anyone that we touch, because every person that we touch, we can make a difference. You only need to make a difference with one person to make an impact, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The power of sharing your story is huge. It's absolutely huge. And one of the things that we noticed with the 3 of us that are at the same school site is all 3 of us have totally different experiences. Nobody's cancer experience is the same as yours. But when you can share what happened with yours, there might be that tidbit that someone can take out of that and go, that'll work. That'll be a good thing. Thank you for sharing it with me. And maybe you just made somebody's day by simply sharing.
Right.
Absolutely. And we just had a nice comment from Paiva. I don't know if I'm butchering that name, but she says, "Thank you for sharing your stories. Hold on tight to all of the beautiful blessings during this journey." So thank you so much. Thank you all for sharing tonight, and
You're welcome.
Taking the time. Oh yeah, thank you guys. So we really appreciate you coming on, and sharing your experiences, because people need to know. Again, every person's journey is different, and it's so personal, and it's so individual, and no one's the same. Every person's different. So thank you for sharing your take on your stories. What's scrolling down on the bottom is where you can find out more information about us. And if you love what we do, you want to help support these programming that we constantly need help and volunteer for. You can find us on shayswarriors.org. You can donate. You can ask more information. You can sign up for volunteering. So many things. It's all there. Our next events, all of it. All the information.
Go to shayswarriors.org/events. You'll find all of the stuff is there. You can sign up for this. You can sign up for Coffee and Connection in advance. You can also sign up for the Fit Warriors program, which is in person right in the Greater Palm Springs area. If you choose to donate, because obviously we are a nonprofit organization, we do not have any employees, and so every single dollar that you donate goes to the Survivors Retreat, our workshops, our programs for cancer survivorship. That is huge, and we're able to do that because of awesome people like you guys being able to share. Sonia, Marissa. Lots of people volunteering their hours. There's so many ways that you can help make an impact, even by sharing our Facebook page, our Instagram, all of that. So thank you, everybody, for your help. And it's a lot of love, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We really appreciate your time.
Oh, I love that.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you again for joining us on Talk, Listen, Share. We will see you next time.
See you next time. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.